Start this noon with a new report just into the newsroom. A nonpartisan Wisconsin research group says a recent surge in fentanyl-related deaths is a public health crisis. This study from Forward Analytics shows the number of people in Wisconsin whose deaths were connected to synthetic opioids jumped 1,000% in 6 years. Experts say fentanyl is incredibly potent, 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine. Between 2015 and 2021, 4,300 people in Wisconsin died from drug overdoses, with fentanyl the top killer of younger people, ages 25 to 54. The director of the study says the worst aspect of this is all the lives cut short.
Because this is hitting that 25 to 54-year-old age group so hard, that 4,300 deaths translates to almost 160,000 potential years of life lost. And if we add in the preliminary numbers, which aren't final yet for 2022, we're well over 200,000 and growing. That to me is the really troubling number.
Our Brittany Schmidt is combing through this just released report right now. She'll have the latest first alert information you need to know on Action 2 News at 5 and online. New at noon, a bipartisan bill that just passed the state legislature now awaits a signature from Governor Evers. It amends state law to equate the penalties for deaths resulting from the manufacture, distribution or delivery of controlled substances to those for first-degree reckless homicide. That means what was a potential fine is now mandatory imprisonment. The bill's authors crafted the measure, they say, to help address the state's fentanyl crisis.